Hey guys. So, I spoke about Ellen DeGeneres and just what I consider to be the liberal bourgeoisie. I didn't even know WikiLeaks had spoke about her in detail. I didn't even know that she had done work for the State Department. Didn't know that. Doesn't surprise me. Um, Graham Elwood, I listen to him off and on. Him, Status Quo. These are white allies. These are white people that get it. Graham Elwood spoke about it, how he didn't think it was, he didn't agree with Ellen. He didn't go as far as I did, which is to me, she's liberal bourgeoisie. She is an example of this champagne liberal that, okay, these cops shouldn't be so rough, and okay, maybe there's some problems with the environment, and you should be more tolerant, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It's like Lady Gaga stuff she does. It doesn't. It's not nothing substantial to that. It just sounds good. And Graham Elwood, he put out something I didn't even know about. He was talking about how there were CIA documents that had been released recently in regards to the fact that they did not have evidence, good evidence, to begin the war in Iraq. They got their intelligence from one source and one source only, and all that. And he spoke on his opinion. I always speak about how I said this the other day. What Trump really represents is America is not to be trusted. But this was going on before Trump was elected. He didn't get us into Iraq war. That was already going on. He didn't get us into Libya. That was already going on. These things are already going on. Trump is just the most arrogant of the imperialist presidents we've had, I think, in recent years. One thing that Grandma was talking about how how it was so messed up, and I'm so tired because I've said this a million times to y'all about how it's disgusting this happened. It shouldn't have happened. But what gets me is how these white men are so easily deluded. Even if you really don't care, and you really are like, you know what, bomb the Middle East into smithereens, kill them all. Even if you feel like that, you got cheated. And the people who cheated you are still in politics today. They're still cheating you. And they're still molding and they're having a hand in the world in which we live today. They were not punished. When Dram was talking about these, I said to myself, talking about torture and how he didn't think it doesn't work. Well, it's really because these Trump supporters these white men are really very sadistic. When you really get down to the bottom of it is, I don't really believe anymore that they really believed about Iraq. I think they wanted blood. And I'm not really sure they really cared about whose blood got taken. That sounds crazy, but it's not. Not. And I really believe that now, that these white folks are real sadistic people. When you really get down to the bottom, these military folks are real sadistic. And I'm just not sure they care about harming the right people or not. That bothers me. People who delight in the shedding of blood. I spoke about that before. We fought an 18-year-long occupation on the basis of a lie. We've killed over 1 million people in the Middle East. All refugees are due to our military actions. We have a hand in the world that has been created due to our military action that was undertaken under George Bush in pursuit of the terrorists that supposedly attacked us on 9/11. Like it or not, these campaigns of terror have never ended. And at the end of the day, we really been just fighting the war for Israel. That's what it really comes down to. You might not like it, but that's you fought a war for Israel, man. What did it do for America? Nothing. We're more safe. We're less safe. If anything, 9/11 was blowback. I realize that now with blowback, just what it was. But like I said, my whole opinion of the matter is just that we got took. You had Bolton back then, and then they brought him. Trump brought him back, and you had the chick that was torturing people at the CIA back then, and Trump puts her in charge of the CIA as a director. You got took. Understand that, white man. And the people that took you back then are taking you today. Those people, their philosophy and their ideas helped mold the foreign policy that you see in action today. And that's just reality, man. And now you're being told intelligence wasn't no good. Valerie Plum came out to risk it all. What did the Republicans do? To leak their information. Got to get her killed. You hear nobody talk about that today, do you? I realize now what Snowden did was really heroic. And I know that folks aren't going to get it because they don't really care. I felt like what Bush did, what they did by leaking her clearance was just so diabolical and so wicked and so underhanded that I'll never look at him as a legitimate person ever again. That man could die tomorrow and leave all his money to charities in Africa or charities in the inner city to where we knew the money was going to help black people. And I would still look at him with a jaundiced eye. Anytime anybody mentions him or I see him in a book, I still look at him because I can't forgive that. And it's like every 10 years or so, this stuff pops up again. Not every 10 years. It ain't been that long. But you had Snowden in 2013. He came out. I really think his last interview he did, one of the last ones he did before he left. Oh, no. It's one of the first ones he did. I'm sorry. When he was talking about turnkey tyranny. We're living under that with Trump, where you have a president that actually is abusing national security tools and files to hide his own malfeasance. That's turnkey tyranny, baby. I think that may be the definition of turnkey tyranny. Well, no, the definition of it will be him using it to go after people. He's not using it to go after people, but he's using it in a negative manner. He's using it for a use it was not intended for. It's like a policeman getting a gun and using that gun to rob people. He's giving that gun to go after criminals, not to go commit crime himself. That's not intended use. That's unintended use. Like an instrument. And Valerie Plum years ago. Sometimes, I really feel like if I had children, I really want to sit down and teach them about that. I mean, I know as a black man, we was teaching about, our black leaders and our success stories and Robert McNair, the brother was on Challenger, people like that. I get it. We should. But as I get older, I really understand the need for whistleblowers in democracy, especially when our democracy has swerved and went off track as it has today. And as I get older, I understand that more and more that I'm not sure you can have a democracy without people who are willing to stand up when they see wrongdoing done. Crying out for justice. If I have to say, if you don't step out at certain points, I question your morality. They were talking about how, today Rudy Giuliani had some buddies, some Ukrainian buddies, Russian buddies, whatever, that were really organized crime. Got picked up at the airport before they, left the country. And, excuse me. And they were just talking about how what if Barr, Trump's Attorney General, had got in the mix and somehow tried to interfere with the arrests, interfere with the investigation, and the lady on Fox on MSNBC was saying that they would quit en masse. That's what needs to happen. I mean, it's like I believe man can't do a job. He hasn't got a job. Yeah, that's what that is. Peace out.